Welcome to the Maine Basketball Rankings Podcast. I am your host, basketball dad and nerd Lucas McNally, and today on the show we are talking Mr. and Miss Basketball. Who are the contenders, who are the sleepers, and who can't win it because actually they're still a junior and you have to be a senior to win Mr. or Miss Basketball. Let's get to that, but first off, today's show is brought to you by Vertical Raise, one of the largest fundraising platforms in the country, now proudly helping teams, clubs, and programs across Maine. With Vertical Raise, your program can raise more money in less time. No selling, no collecting, just results. From new uniforms and better equipment to tournament trips and every fundraising need in between, Vertical Raise has a variety of campaigns to make it happen. Your Maine reps, Christie and DChase, are both coaches who know what it takes to run a great program at any sport, club, or grade level, and they understand how important fundraising is to making it happen. Schedule a call or email today. You can find that information in the show notes and see how Vertical Raise can take your fundraising to the next level. I actually saw a couple of Vertical Raise fundraiser things where they were selling shirts, and did I think about buying a t-shirt of a school I've never been to or seen play in person? Yes, I did. Did I actually do it? No, but I still might. But anyway, Vertical Raise is great for that. They can help you out and do all sorts of stuff. Okay, so today's show, we are doing a Mr. and Miss Basketball draft. It's similar to the Wins draft, but it's Mr. and Miss Basketball. Dylan Rottkov of Blue Wave is here, and Steve Carmichael, making his podcast debut, or at least on this podcast from WHOU, is here. So we got your northern Maine bias, we got your southern Maine bias, so we've got all of your biases covered, and it's very fun. Some technical difficulties, whatever. So I want to talk a little bit. We recorded that on Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about the start of the season because it has been awesome. We started on Thursday, which is like a little earlier. We usually start on a Friday. Completely threw me off. So I didn't end up going to Camden and Edward Little, which is what I probably would have done if we hadn't scheduled the podcast recording with Dylan and Steve for Thursday evening, because me thinking the season starts on Friday. I probably would have gone to that, and epic game, Iqbal Maywin and Nolan Ames just trading blows. Camden almost gives away a lead, tie game, and you know what, let's just run the tape. That's Hollis Schwalm with the winning bucket. You will probably remember him from football season, where he was the quarterback of Camden's state championship 8-man team, and did an interview for here, and very nice guy, very nice kid, good kid. Nolan Ames, spoiler alert, like if you're going to listen to the rest of the episode, he gets drafted pretty quickly in the Mr. Basketball draft. So then Friday, I went to Cheverus in South Portland. Boys-girls doubleheader. We need more boys-girls headers because it was epic scene. So many people there. And two really good games between four really good teams. The girls' game, South Portland had a pretty big lead in the first half and looked like they were going to run away with it. And then Kylie Lamson brought Cheverus back. They ratcheted up their defense, and they had a great second half to come away with a 5-point lead. And I talked to Kylie after the game.
All right, Kyle, you guys got a little bit of revenge tonight against South Portland after they knocked you out of the tournament last year. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely felt really good. Getting that win, especially coming down from a 21-8 lead from them, it was definitely an amazing feeling. We had everybody contributing. We never backed down.
So yeah, you were down early in the first half. What's the message at halftime?
Really just to stay positive and keep our energy up. Keeping everybody together, staying together, and having a bunch of leaders. It was really just our energy and staying good on defense and offensively.
So A-South looks pretty loaded. How important is it to get those heel points this early?
It definitely is pretty important to get. We start with a really tough season, so it's definitely going to be more of a challenge to get our heel points, but we're going to have to work for it either way.
All right, good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the big one was the boys' game. This was, so this is the year of the freshmen, as everyone has told you, and I have this thing where I don't pay attention to AAU and whatever. So I just don't know who these kids are until they start playing varsity basketball, because I just don't have the time. And I was talking a little bit on Twitter about this to Adam Robinson, and he's talking about how trainers and this whole Instagram culture and whatever. And I'm like, man, I don't know who these kids are, and I can figure it out in like 2 minutes who the standout freshmen are. Like, it's not hard. You don't need all of this like hype machine around them. So, Despacho, I want to say that wrong. It's gonna take me a while to get that one. From South Portland, I clocked him warming up, and I saw Dylan. And I was like, that's the freshman? That's the South Portland freshman? And he's like, yep. I'm like, okay, figured that one out. And then it took me about 2 minutes into the game to figure out Kalen Watkins from Cheverus was the other impact freshman. I knew South Portland had a good freshman, and I knew Cheverus had a good freshman. I just didn't know, I don't know what number they are, and I hadn't looked at the program that closely. And it took about 2 minutes. And they both played great. Despacho? Yeah, all right, we'll go with it. Had a great first half. He was lights out. And then Watkins had a couple dunks. He had a dunk technical, which I got a nice video of, so that's fun. And then, so let's go to the end of the game. Cheverus led pretty much the whole way here. South Portland comes back. Gabe Jackson hits a 3 to get him within 2, and then I forget how they tie it. But then we get a tie game. South Portland ball. Run the clip. I said run the clip like there's a producer here. It's just me. Okay, so here's what happened here. As you might imagine. So before this play, I said to Dylan, I was like, this is great. I got this dunk technical. That's going to pay for my gas down here. And then this happened. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So what happens is South Portland scores. That is not in dispute. They beat the clock by, there was like 1.2 left when the ball goes through the rim. So then the clock stops. The clock's not supposed to stop. This clock is supposed to keep going, but, there's just chaos. I mean, you saw it. There's chaos. Everybody's trying to figure out what's happening. Cheverus thinks they called timeout. There's people on the floor. There's players on the floor. There's fans on the floor. It's just sheer chaos. And the clock says 0.6. 0.6 is enough for a catch and shoot. It's probably not going to do anything. They're probably not going to make it, but it's something. So then the officials go over, and they talk to the table, and they talk to the coaches, and then they just walk off the floor. And this is where we need a microphone, like at an NBA game, where they can announce it to the crowd, because the crowd is losing it. And this is so awesome. Just walks off. The coaches the Cheverus coaches are livid. They're falling. They're screaming. The AD's got to hold someone back. Great stuff. Great cinema. Love it. So what happened was I went over and talked to the timekeeper. It's very nice. I didn't catch his name. What happened was he thought he heard a whistle, so he stopped the clock. Now, being Cheverus' guy and Cheverus needing the extra time, he, let's say, was very ready to stop the clock. Who can blame him, right? You would have been really ready to stop the clock if you were in that situation. So he stops the clock. Inadvertent whistle. There was no whistle. Well, there is a whistle. He thought he heard a whistle, but he did not. Then there was a whistle of the officials trying to get the South Portland players to get off the floor, but that was at least 4 seconds. I ran the thing. At least 4 seconds after the clock would have expired. So the game would have been over if the scorekeeper doesn't stop the clock. So the correct call was made. Just chaos ensued, and we're off to a fantastic start to this season. An absolutely epic start to this season. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Okay, that's enough of that. Make sure you subscribe to this wherever it is you're watching it. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to it, make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends, do all the things, leave a nice review, yada, yada, yada. Let's go to the Mr. and Miss Basketball Draft. Okay, my guests today are Dylan Rottkov, the new owner of Blue Wave, and Steve Carmichael, the voice of Northern Maine for WHOU. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having me, Lucas.
All right, so we're having a little bit of internet trouble, so we're going to do the best we can. What we're basically doing is we are drafting Mr. and Miss Basketball players based on essentially if we think there's likelihood of them winning or becoming a semi-finalist or a finalist of Mr. and Miss Basketball. Pretty self-explanatory. So I have created on random.org a thing that has all our names. I'm going to hit the button for our draft order. And
I thought I already had first pick.
Well, I'll hit it again because it just gave me first pick. It just gave me first pick again. Okay. So our draft order then, if you guys can see that, Lucas, Steve, Dylan. All right, so we'll do
I
snake.
take it. Third's a great spot. Third's a great spot in the snake draft. We'll take it.
Third's a great spot. So we get points, 3 points if you get Mr. Basketball or Miss Basketball, 2 points if you get a finalist, 1 point if you get a semi-finalist. Not really the point. The point is to try to highlight who are the players to watch for this upcoming season among the seniors. And this is the disclaimer that you have to be a senior to win Mr. or Miss Basketball. So Quinn Pelletier, sorry you can't win. Pick a junior. There's a lot of good juniors. You can't win. It's a 4-year award. You have to be a senior. Okay. Do we have any questions? Because Dylan has a hard out.
I'm good.
All right. We're good. All right. So I am up first. So this is the easiest move on the board. I'm going to take Nolan Ames. He's been dominating everywhere he's played. He had the profile I always look for a Mr. Basketball is big tournament appearance in your junior year that gets a lot of eyeballs. Follow that up with a big stat boosting senior year, and he seems to be the front runner from everyone I've talked to.
They were playing Edward Little. Last time I checked, they were up by 5 because we're recording on it's Thursday night.
It's Thursday night, yeah.
You have it on a separate monitor because I was watching before I had the audio issues.
I don't have it on another monitor. I was going to watch it later. But yeah, we're recording Thursday night because that was the night that worked, and I forgot that the season started on Thursday night because it always starts on Friday night.
Right.
All right, so
Just to tell a quick Nolan Ames story, Lucas.
Love it.
We had an event at my gym in Portland, the old Macaulay High School, and a guy named Isaiah Fuller is a big-time basketball influencer, put together a Maine All-Star game, basically. Mm-hmm. So it was our Blue Wave Elite guys versus the Taft All-Star team, they called it. Nolan was on the Taft team. At one point, we had 3 Blue Wave guys guarding him, doing everything we could to stop him. This was a 4-quarter game. So best players against best players in the state. Nolan dropped 51 points that day. We're talking 2 guys in his face, step backs, threes, contested, dunks. So I know firsthand the kid is virtually unstoppable with the rock. So looking for big things from him this winter. I think that's a great pick.
And what I love about him is he plays defense too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. He's just as good defensively as he is on the offensive end.
Yeah, and Steve, you were there, right, for the game against? Were you there? No, that would have been in Augusta. You weren't there for the game, the big tournament game against Hamden.
I was not. No, I'm stuck in Bangor.
All right. Well, you have the second pick.
Well, considering as we spoke earlier about the candidates, and I was trying to think of somebody from the north, as far as up here, like Bangor North, and I really couldn't as far as who could be a finalist. I think that I'm going to go with Tyree James from Wyndham as my first pick. Obviously, Wyndham's had a ton of success. You could really have a toss-up between him or AJ Moody, depending on who you want to pick from that class or that school. But I'm going to go with James first overall for me.
That's a great pick. I don't know. I thought about Tyree James if I didn't get, if I was like later, and then I was like, I just wonder if AJ Moody's going to take a lot of his votes.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice pick, Steve. I like that.
All right. Dylan, you've got 2 picks.
That's why it's a great spot to be. So for my third pick, I'm going to take Maddie Provost out of Lawrence. I think this is close to a no-brainer while there is some competition in the field. Maddie is a Division I commit. She's coming off averaging 21 points per game as a junior. And all the people I'm speaking to tell me that, she's the top player in Maine right now on the girls' side. So I'm going to take Maddie with my first overall pick.
Great pick.
And then my second pick, unless you guys wanted to say something about Maddie.
I mean, I just think the consensus is it's hers to lose at this point.
The only way that I could see her not winning is if Lawrence gets ousted early once again, and this time in B North.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. That would be really the only way. But the way they do the voting, they might have already voted by then.
I don't know how they do the voting. Do we know?
We know a little bit. So to get to the semifinalists, it's the coaches all vote, and then the top 10 vote getters get to the semifinalists, and then it gets to the mysterious cabal of media people and former coaches, and they make a decision, but no one's really sure when they make that decision because they completely missed on Davis Mann last year, who definitely should have been probably a finalist.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yep. And then for my second pick, I'm gonna go with Reese McDonald out of York. So while everybody in the new Class A is slugging it out, I think Reese is going to be a bit on an island by himself. I feel that Reese may be the best basketball player in the state of Maine. He's unstoppable on offense. He has a turnaround J. He can score in the paint. He can catch and shoot from 3. He can shoot mid range. He's tough as nails. Reese is just an unstoppable offensive player, and I think he's going to put up huge numbers this year. And York will obviously be in contention to win it all. So I'm going to go with Reese McDonald for my first boy off the board. He's a pretty special player and definitely an offensive threat.
Yeah, he had a great tournament last year in the B-South tournament. And that fits my theory of if you have the big tournament your junior year, all eyes on you, all that.
Right.
My pick now, I believe.
You are up.
So I'll take my first girl off the board. I will go with Kylie Lamson.
Damn it.
I saw her as a freshman when she started at Thornton Academy and was very impressed early on with her ability to score and how athletic she was. She also a 3-level score, basically. And I think she's due for a big year. So I'm going to go with Lamson for my first girl off the board.
That's a great pick. Okay. Dylan, you have anything to say about Kylie Lamson? Well, I think.
She's just a great player. I mean, she had a big state game last year, even though they didn't come down with it. Kylie's a threat. I think that's a great pick. She would have been my second girl picked myself, so I'd have to agree with Steve that she'd be the next girl off the board.
Okay. Boy, there's a lot of choices here. I'm gonna go a little bit off book, do a sort of a late Belichick draft pick, where I take a rugby player too soon. But this is mostly to right a wrong from the Wins draft, where I got talked out of the Wisdom girls in the Wins draft because Tyler told me that Ava Lerman had graduated, and I believed him like a fool.
She is an 8th grader. That's probably why.
She was an 8th grader. Okay, so she's now a senior, right?
Yes.
And she had a monster tournament.
Yeah.
And I got talked out of her. So I'm going to take Ava Lerman from Wisdom. 18 free throws in one game in the tournament. I've not seen her play.
She's terrific. Wisdom's one of those teams that's been knocking at the door. A couple years ago, they had Southern Rustic on the ropes, and then last year they were the victim of not really a victim of the first ever replay to overturn that game-winning shot, but they ended up having a foul before the shot, and Charlie Pierce for Central Rustic made 2 at the line, or made 1 at the line to win it for the Panthers in the semifinals. So yeah, they've been snake bitten a couple different times, but I expect Ava Lerman to have a big year for Wisdom.
Oh, and I have another pick. Okay. What do I have? We don't have any rules about how many boys versus how many girls you have to have, but I'm trying to even it out a little bit. So, Dylan, I'm leaning on you a little bit here. I think I'm going to take Gabe Jackson from South Portland. Because you told me he had
he's been unbelievable in the preseason.
And that's a great program, and there's a lot of, I think those really big schools, they get a lot of attention. They're going to be on, Travis Lee's going to be saying their name a lot. Dave Eads going to be saying his name a lot. I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah, and just a quick one about Gabe. I mean, he's put the time in, comes from a basketball family with his older brother Jalen there. Gabe was a great football player. He decided to give up football to start focusing on basketball a few years back, and it's really paid off. He's playing as well as anybody in the preseason. And, he's going to be a prolific scorer, so I like that pick for you, and I think South Portland's going to win a lot of games. So,
now my worry was Darius Johnson would take a lot of his votes. Is that a concern?
If you're voting based on rebounds, block shots, and dunks, Darius is the best player in Maine, but I think Gabe will handle a big workload of the scoring as far as South Portland's offense goes. So I would say he'll be their leading scorer this year, if I were to predict.
Oh, we lost.
And there goes Steve.
Hopefully temporarily.
He's on the clock. So
he's on the clock.
How does this work?
We need I don't know how it works. We've never had. This is an unprecedented situation. This is why we do the thing where we upload the video later. So he's on the clock. So how do you feel about your picks so far? Let's talk about Blue Wave while we wait for Steve to come back.
Sure.
Tell people about Blue Wave.
Yeah, Blue Wave is going great. I think every great player of the last 15 years or so played at one point, and we can talk more about that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't give Steve his pick.
There he is. He's on the clock.
Must have a glitch in the internet. The internet, as I said, is down right now with the wind.
This is going to be an adventure in editing. I can tell already.
I know. Sorry.
What are you going to do?
So I'm going to go with my second boys pick. I'm going to go with Adam Fitzgerald out of Scarborough.
Ooh.
Scoring machine. Again, especially from mid-range, but can also shoot it. I've always been impressed with his offensive ability, so I'm going to go with Fitzgerald for my second boy off the board.
Another fantastic pick. This is the depth of talent. I know we're only 3 or 4 rounds into this, but the depth of talent already. All right.
Yep. It's a good
Dylan,
pick, Steve. I got 2 in a row, right?
2 in a row.
All right, so my first pick, I'm going to go with more of a household name here. I disagree with Steve on this one. I'm going to go with AJ Moody, and I think he's going to be the guy getting a lot of those votes coming out of Wyndham. And I'll say this, if AJ Moody does what he's done, takes a small step forward, and Wyndham wins their 3rd gold ball, I don't know how it's going to be very tough to give Mr. Basketball to Nolan Ames if AJ Moody has 3 state championships. Just something to think about. So I'm going with AJ Moody there. He's been phenomenal from what I've seen. Saw them thrash a few teams in the preseason, and AJ was looking dangerous, out there. So I'm going to go with AJ Moody. And then for my next pick,
I'll say a little AJ Moody first. I think a good argument for AJ Moody is he's in all these state games, and when you have Rob Kennedy like singing your praises for an hour and a half, I mean that's gonna carry a lot of weight because he's always doing all these little things. He's taking charges, he's getting on the floor, he's doing all that like glue stuff that real ball knowers just absolutely love. And so a guy like Rob is like, look at this, AJ Moody doing this, AJ Moody doing that, and that gets in people's heads.
Yeah, I mean, he can shoot it, and he's got freak athleticism too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is no slouch athletically. Like AJ Moody can do anything you need him to do on the basketball court. So that's my next pick, and I have kind of a dark horse guy, but I think I'm gonna save him for the next round because I don't think you guys will snag him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with somebody who's a little more mainstream. I think Cole Maywin is gonna stuff the stat sheet for EL this year. Points, assists, steals, blocks, rebounds. He can do it all. He's a phenomenal kid. He works hard. He's a great teammate, and he's their leader. So I think that EL team is going to take a step forward this year. And a lot of people don't know, but Cole's cousin, Sean Ring, transferred to EL. So that'll be another really long athlete there on the supporting cast. Look for EL to surprise some people this year, for sure, between Cedric, Cole, and Sean Ring. That'll be a great trio, seniors.
Yeah, I think Edward Little's going to have a big year. And I'm not sure how many people are ready for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm gonna look for somebody that's a little bit of a smaller school, but I think he's going to put up massive numbers that you just simply won't be able to ignore. That's going to be Harry Lewis from Valley. He's going to be a senior. He could probably, now that Valley's dropped to Class S, I think they could absolutely just run the table, and he could be averaging over 30. And it's hard to ignore that when you're talking about a semi-finalist Mr. Basketball on the list. So I'm going to go with a smaller school and select Harry Lewis.
Love it. He might score 2,000 points. And if you score 2,000 points, that's a layup for Mr. Basketball semifinalist.
Yeah.
All right. I'm next. I'm going to grab a small school kid, too, I think. I already grabbed one. But I'm going to grab Trenton Haskell from Buckfield. Had 49 points last year in one game, hit 13 threes. And if he's doing that as a junior, he's going to be doing that as a senior. And it's going to be a couple of those like on Facebook, holy crap, did you see what this kid did last nights? And people love that. And there's always got to be, that, I guess are they in C or D? I don't remember where they are right now, but that sort of up there, the old C South area, some of those guys. Yeah, Trenton Haskell. Have not seen him play either.
It's all right. Don't have to when he scored 49 points.
Yeah, that's all I needed was 49 points in a game. What more do you need? All right, and then I have another pick. So let's go for a girl. Gonna go... See, I was thinking of Juliana Allen, but there's so many seniors on that Mount Ararat team that I don't know how anyone's going to pick who to take. So I'm going to take Mary Allen for Bangor Christian, formerly of Central. She's not taken, right?
No.
Okay.
He's not. Yep. Great pick.
She's going to absolutely just crush all comers, I think, for Bangor Christian this year.
My pick might be the only team that might be able to beat them, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
All
I'm
right.
going, and I've been on this train for, I don't know, the past week or so with all the podcasts I've done, but Riley Moulton from Penobscot Valley, the Hound. You talk about a program that's been dominant over the past few years. Riley Moulton has been the conductor of a lot of it, especially on the defensive end. But I think Riley Moulton, you talk about what Penobscot Valley has been able to do over the past 3 or 4 years and how great this team is. She's really the leader of it. And I think we need to reward somebody like that, even though it's a smaller school. I'm still going to roll with Riley Moulton. I like the Mary Allen pick. I do. She's a stat sheet stuffer. Definitely will be in contention, but I think Riley Moulton will be too.
Yeah, and one thing to remember is that it's all the coaches voting, and a lot of these C and D coaches are going to fill up their ballot with C and D people because that's who they see all year. And they'll be like, I don't care about the kid at Chevrolet. Somebody else will vote for the kid at Chevrolet or whatever.
I liked her game since she was a freshman. She's just been unbelievable and consistent. And when the big games come, she performs.
Yeah, and they're just a wagon, an absolute wagon.
Yep.
All right, Dylan.
So I got these are my last 2 picks, right?
These are your last 2, unless we want to do one more round because we're going really fast.
I like these 2 here. So I'm going to go with Nia Avery out of York.
Ooh.
I had the opportunity to coach Nia in an all-star game at Lenny Holmes's all-star weekend he did. Coached her for 2 days, actually, in like clinic work and then the senior game. And she just plays so hard. And, you know, she's not too tall in stature, but they have her play the 5 at times just because she's such a beast, like, on the boards. She just plays so hard. When she's on the perimeter, she can shoot it, and she attacks the rack, like, ferociously. So, you know, she plays with a certain level of intensity that is hard to come by. So just for that alone, I think she'll put up big numbers. And they got a good team in York. So I would put Nia in that mix. I don't know if you guys want to, you know.
I like it.
Talk about,
I like it. I've always been impressed with her when I've seen her in the tournament. Every year I'm like, who is that? Yeah, but that York team is always so fun to watch anyway. You know, and there's always, I don't know, it's always a team that impresses me.
Yeah, they'll be in the mix for sure. So Nia Avery will be my second to last pick. And then I'm gonna reach deep in my bag for this one.
Okay.
This is a kid I've known for a long time, and boy, does he put up numbers. He's not at the biggest, fanciest school. I don't know that he'll win a gold ball this year, although he does have a good supporting cast. But Damon Martin is just a player. Like, Damon Martin is at Poland. If you follow any of the Maine high school football page stuff, every weekend he's putting up 7 or 8 touchdowns, playing quarterback. And he's very difficult to stop on the court. He's a point guard. He'll get a good amount of assists with the JMOs out there that he can pass to. And Poland will have a pretty solid team this year, but Damon Martin looks to be the engine as the senior captain. And I have to think he'll get some votes for, at least some votes for Mr. Basketball. You know, I think there's some clear favorites on the boys' side this year, but Damon will have the numbers, and it's a career award, and he's had a fantastic career, so I'd throw him in that mix.
I like it.
I feel like I got to pick one more girl as well to match. I think 3 boys. I'm going to pick another girl.
Yeah, you have 3 boys.
Renee Ripley out of Oceanside.
Ah.
Obviously, with what Oceanside's going to be able to do this year, Olivia Breen coming into the mix. Ripley has always had big years. I know she can shoot it. Again, I'll defer to you guys. I know you see a lot more of the Southern teams, but I always, when I see an Oceanside box score, her name comes up for pretty much first every time.
She's really, since her freshman year, has been quietly responsible for way more of their success than people realize. I think, you know, there's always, you know, Bailey Breen and Hoos and whoever, and you're always, if you're really watching them, you're going, boy, Renee Ripley's doing a lot here that's maybe not getting noticed. They had another girl whose name has escaped me because I'm terrible at names, who would just clean up rebounds for them. And she was another one like that, where you were like, if they lost her for like an injury, they would be in a lot more trouble than people realize. And Renee Ripley's one of those players.
Yeah.
It's a great pick,
I know
Steve.
it's more your area.
It is.
Lucas, I was down the mid coast area. Down east. I was down there. Beginning of soccer season. I went to a game at Oceanside. Well, it's at the middle school. Watched the Oceanside boys soccer team play, and even the girls. Talk about some great programs. That's.
And you avenged them because they got passed over in the Winds draft. So I thought they would get taken, and they weren't.
Yeah, I would too.
All right. Am I next? I'm next. Okay, so I got one more pick. I've got 2 girls, 3 boys. I might as well take a girl. Ooh. Boy, there's a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take Addison Sear for Matt Knockhook.
Yeah, she was on my list.
Okay, I feel good about that.
Yep, headed to Hudson University next year to play for Christie Walker. Everyone talks about her height, but it's her footwork in the post. More of a traditional post player, but she will score 25 to 30 points probably most nights. And Matt Knockhook's been the bridesmaid for the past couple of years to PVHS. I think this will likely be the year they become the bride.
Nice. I like it. All right. So we're done. Okay, so Dylan, you wanted us to take a diaper dandy because everyone has said this is the best freshman class like ever. And there's like 15 to 20 freshmen who sound like they're going to make a difference. So Dylan's idea was to add a diaper dandy pick. So Dylan, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so if we can go on and on about the freshmen on both the boys and girls. So I'll just pick a boy and a girl.
Okay.
So there's all these dunkers with the 9th grade boys, right? So Kaylon Watkins is special, right? Quinn Pelletier is unbelievable. Israel Muzela is awesome. Ephraim Luseko is awesome. But I think the most ready freshman right now is Lionel Despacho, who's starting at point guard for South Portland. He is just very ready for this. It's a kid who's spent a big chunk of his life getting ready for this type of thing. He works out 3 days a week at 6 a.m. Works out 2 or 3 times a day, every day. This has been going on since he was in 2nd or 3rd grade. And he's just very ready for this. I went on the Mannix brothers last year, and I said when he was in 8th grade, he might be the most skilled player in Maine, ages 18 and down. So just be ready to watch him play 30 minutes a game for South Portland this year as a freshman. And then there's a girl from Gardner, Alexa Quintana. She's like 6'4". Defends the middle.
They have another 6'4"
really
kid?
well. Yes. And Alexa is like really tall, long, athletic, very skilled. She defends the rim and she can run the floor really well for a young big. And the talent of this class is not exclusive to the boys. There is a lot of talent on the girls' side too. So 2029, Maine's most talented class ever for hoops, in my opinion. Of course, you can make the case that whatever class Cooper Flagg is in is the best class, but just from an across-the-board standpoint, this is really the one, I think. So we got some great, tournament games in the future to look forward to.
How much do you think Cooper's influence is part of that, where people, did people go watch him and go, wait, I could actually do something because I'm from Maine?
Yeah, so this is the question I get all the time, being the Blue Wave guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is what's the impact Cooper Flagg had on these kids, and I'll just answer it kind of how I always do. So I told my dad in 5th grade I'm going to the NBA, and he was like, Dylan, you're from Maine, it's impossible, it's not happening. Nobody
father
from
said
Maine
the same
will
thing.
ever go to the NBA. Right? So so now not only can you go D1, kid? But, a kid from Maine is, the best rookie in the NBA, right? So he just shattered through the glass ceiling and put the bar way up on Mars. So now, these kids feel like playing college ball and playing at a high level is a lot more obtainable because they're seeing a kid they watched play in Beale Gym, play for the Dallas Mavericks and having a lot of success, obviously. So,
Man, he played well last night.
It's definitely inspiring. It makes them think it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance when Cooper came back up to Portland when I think he was a senior at Montverde Academy, when they had like Derek Queen and Liam McNeely, and I had a chance to cover that game, what they called the main event, and it didn't really hit me how big Cooper was until I saw all the young kids that were there and how packed it was and how he has changed the basketball culture in an entire state. I mean, it's incredible what he's been able to do. And I think I speak as a Maine basketball fan. I've been a basketball fan my entire life, especially Maine. And to have an ambassador like Cooper Flagg, I don't think Maine could have been a better first NBA athlete. I could have asked for a better athlete. Yeah. So he's just a great example for the young kids. And I see a lot of them wearing the New Balance sneakers. And it's just great to see. I love it.
And what's crazy is Maine was already obsessed with basketball.
I know.
It's not like it was a field hockey state.
We've had great players like Ralph Mims and Nick Kaner Medley and others, but Cooper just took it to a whole new level.
You know who was my guy was Keegan Highland at South Portland. Way back. I mean, he had everything. He was 6'4". He could shoot it. Like I always used to tell people, when Dustin Cole was happening, I would tell people I was like, Keegan had all that skill and he was 6'4", and he ended up going to Gonzaga very briefly. He got some bad injury luck when he landed there, but he was as good as anybody I've seen outside of, Cooper and JP since then. So he was my guy back in the day.
My guy
Keegan
back
Highland.
in the day was Josh Nash, which will surprise nobody, being from the Madomic area. And yeah, it was just an event every game he played.
When I was in 8th grade, Presque Isle was in their last year of Class A, and we went to a game at the Bangor Auditorium, and Presque Isle won a prelim to be the 8th seed, and they took on Ralph Mims in Brunswick. And I think in the first quarter, he stole an outlet pass, took one dribble, and slammed it. And it was like, okay, well, this is a different level. And
that was a long bus ride.
Yeah, that was, good to see you guys. We'll be out of here in just a few moments.
All right, Steve, you want to take a diaper dandy?
So yeah, I feel like being the Aroostook County guy, Quinn Pelletier would be too easy.
Yeah.
So there's a couple names that I remember from a few games that I watched in middle school. Of course, my son's a freshman in Presque Isle, so I've seen some of these kids, when he goes out and plays travel ball, I've seen some of these kids play. Gage Matson from Maranacook, who's going to be a freshman this year. Seeing him in some of these pickup games, these scrimmages against some of these top-level freshmen coming in, he was always impressive of somebody with a high school-ready physique and athleticism. And then Tyrus Baxter is another name going to Ellsworth. They're going to be their starting point guard for the Eagles. So he will make an immediate impact in the Class B North ranks. But that's another name to keep an eye out for. For the girls' side, that's a little harder. Caribou, of course, they lost Madeline Depre from last year. They've got a couple good freshmen coming in. Peyton West and Carly Levac would be the first two that come to mind. Caribou starts 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores. So they'll be able to grow together over the next few years and build a future, and potentially when they become juniors and seniors, once Addison Sears gone and stuff like that, Caribou will be able to compete. But Peyton West and Carly Levac were the first 2 names that came to my mind. Raina Azell, who will be at Hodgdon, a freshman that will have to play some big minutes for the Hawks. Those will be some of the freshmen that I've been able to cover, or I will be able to cover over the next few years.
So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here because I don't really see any freshmen until they become freshmen, because I don't have the bandwidth to cover AAU. or 8th graders. So I've only seen two
Well, you
of the
should.
freshman
You
class.
should, Lucas.
I should add 6 or 7 hours to my day, and I'll gladly do it. So I've only seen 2 freshmen in this class. I've seen Quinn Pelletier down, and both of them I saw them on the same day, and I was quite impressed with Quinn Pelletier, as you would imagine. But the Braithwaite kid, it's Carter, right?
Carter
Yeah, okay.
Brathwaite. Yep.
Brathwaite. Okay, Carter Brathwaite. I saw him this summer in the Coney League briefly, and then I watched him play against Portland. Was it Portland? Yeah, it was Portland. And Dylan, you were at that game. Like, some of the passes he made, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised because he's a coach's kid, but the vision for a 9th grader, I was really impressed with that more than anything. And I think that's, the last sort of skill to come in a lot of times is, can you make those really nice passes, some no-look passes, just some really creative ones. And that was the thing that jumped out to me as like, okay, this kid's got something.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Last year when I saw Carter play as an 8th grader, and I've been watching him since he was in 6th grade, he was one of the best players I've ever seen. He was, 6'3 and a half, 6'4", playing point guard, throwing amazing passes, finishing with either hand, shooting it way behind the arc. And he suffered a bad injury in the spring. He had a small fracture in his leg.
Ooh.
And so I think he's been taking the summer to heal that up and get back to his like normal level of explosion. But in this super talented 2029 class, last year he was certainly the best 8th grader out of all of them. In my opinion, it's a great pick for you, Lucas. I think he's a phenomenal player. He'll have a great career. I don't know how long he'll stay in public school in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to enjoy his freshman year playing for his father, and that'll be fun to watch for sure.
That's really the question, is of any of these freshmen, like how many of them are going to be there for the Mr. Basketball draft in 4 years?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of kids you could say that for right now. You could say that for like Ollie Higgins. I know he's a sophomore, but is he going to stick around?
Yeah, and I think what we saw with Cooper is and other people, like if you've got that opportunity, you should absolutely take it, because
Jaleel Joseph, he's already left Central Rustic.
Yeah, great example, because especially with NIL and all that stuff, like if you can get to a bigger college, and that can be a lot of money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so
every kid's situation's different, and some kids are more ready for that than others. But if you got to always weigh your options. When you're a special athlete, and if opportunities come arise, it's a family decision. Moving out of the home, away from your family is always tough when you're a high school kid. So it's not easy.
I had a couple more, Mr. or Miss Basketball, if you want to do another round, but that's up to you guys.
I can do another round. We can do one more round. I got a lot of names left on here. All right. Yeah. Go for it, Steve.
I will go with Owen Corrigan from Caribou. Obviously, we've talked about the success the Vikings have had. We talk about Nolan Ames being a terrific two-way player. Owen is probably the best on-ball defender, at least in Aroostook County, if not one of the best in the state. He can score as well. He's very efficient on the offensive end, makes smart decisions, can pass the ball, sees things that most kids don't, and then he's a great leader. So I'm going to go with Owen Corrigan. I think Caribou will take home another gold ball this year.
Wow.
In Class C, which would make it 4 in 7 years, I believe.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, they've been ridiculous over the past 7 years. But I'm going to roll with Owen Corrigan.
I like it. Dylan, who you got?
I'm going to go ahead and take Celia Bergdahl from Maranacook. She's won a lot. She averaged a double-double as a junior. I believe she was first team all-conference as a junior. I just think that's a safe pick to receive some Miss Basketball votes. I think they'll win too.
Yeah, I think they will. I'm gonna. Boy, there's a lot out there. We can do some honorable mentions here after this. I'm gonna go with Kai Dower. out of Spruce Mountain. Because he's like every tournament they've had their trouble in the tournament, but he's never been the issue in these tournament games. They've had a bunch of tough losses in the tournament, and he's always, even like his sophomore year, I think even his freshman year, you're like, who is this kid? Who's, when he would he got in foul trouble in one game, and that sort of the wheels fell off for him for a little while he was off the floor. And every time I've seen him play, I come away really impressed. Ever since as far back as I can remember.
Yeah, it's a great pick. He's always been a freak athlete, and he will stuff the stat sheet this year for Spruce, no doubt.
Oh, they're gonna have a huge year, I think. All right, I'm gonna throw a couple people. I'll throw a couple boys that I thought were maybe get mentioned. Andrew Oliver for Madnockhook, Parker Morin for Coney. I thought Landon Bellinger, right? He's a senior this year for Caribou.
Bellinger. Yeah.
Okay. See, I can count on you to correct my pronunciation of a Caribou kid.
Yeah, right.
Simon Gellis for Thornton Academy, Lucas Legage for Portland, Mason Wen for Madomic. Yeah, there's some more.
Sawyer Worcester from Hamden was one I had.
Mm-hmm. On the girls' side, Lizzie Bowles for Ellsworth. If Ellsworth can have that bounce back season. Delaney Hoare for Bangor. Kirsten Bigelow for Valley. Valley should have a big year. Megan Mertens for Wells. Leah Jones for Camden. And I can't read my handwriting. You guys got any?
Yeah, I was going to say Leah for sure. Did we already say Juliana Allen? Did anyone pick her?
I mentioned her because I was worried because there's so many seniors on that team that they're just going to split all their votes. But she's a great pick. She had a great tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're looking at Miss Basketball, you got to look at the people who are all state as juniors and kind of use that as, for, the fan favorites. And she was on there as a varsity Maine all-state player as a junior. So I'd throw her in there as well. And I was going to say Leah Jones if you didn't mention her, but that's another name as well in Camden Hills to look at. So I like that list.
Yep.
Yeah. And
we got to throw Darius Johnson in there just in case.
Just in case. You have the Jensens for Mount Ararat too, and Kaylee Wag. Kendall Therian for Kennebunk. A lot of talent around the state.
Yeah.
While we're just naming people too.
All right.
I'm just gonna give a shout out to two girls who are going to be very good this year. One's a sophomore, one's a junior. Molly Puffer is a pretty special player. Yep, from Sanford. She's only a sophomore, and you wouldn't know that unless somebody told you. She plays like a senior. She's physical. She can shoot it. She's got a lot of moves, plays defense, talks. She's a leader. She'll be a great player for Sanford. And then Abby Steele at GNG can, she's a junior. And Abby can shoot it from the parking lot, She's just a really good guard. And she's starting to pick up college offers right now. And, no surprise why. So I would expect GNG and Sanford to have big years because those two girls also have good supporting cast with them as well. So just want to mention those two while we're doing a season preview type of deal.
Very cool. All right, well, let's do a recap because Dylan's got a heart out here because he's got to go to, a comedian? Was it a comedian, right?
Something like that.
All right. So, yeah. Dylan's team. Dylan got Maddie Provost from Lawrence, Reese McDonald from York, AJ Moody from Wyndham, Ecole Maywin from Edward Little, Nia Avery from York, Damon Martin from Poland, and Celia Bergdahl from Maranacook. And then for Diaper Dandies, Lionel Despacho from South Portland and Alexa Quintana from Gardner, because Gardner has something in the water that's giving them 6'4" girls who can run the floor. Let's see. Steve has Tyree James from Wyndham, Kylie Lamson from Chevrolet, Adam Fitzgerald from Scarborough, Harry Lewis from Valley, Riley Moulton from Penobscot Valley, Renee Ripley from Oceanside, and where's your other one?
Owen
Corrigan. Okay, from Caribou. And for Diaper Dandies, Gabe Matson from Maranacook, Tyrus Baxter from Ellsworth, Peyton West from Caribou, and Carly LeBeck. And then I had Nolan Ames from Camden, Ava Lerman, who did not graduate last year, from Wisdom, Gabe Jackson from South Portland, Trenton Haskell from Buckfield, Mary Allen from Bangor Christian by way of Central, Addison Sear from Matt Nawcook, and Kai Dower from Spruce with Carter Braithwaite as a diaper dandy.
And now I'm mad at myself because there's somebody that I left off that I should have remembered, and that's the fact that Southern Heuristic girls, of course, they've had this whole dynasty for so long, is Allie Shields is a senior. She missed the entire season last year because of an knee injury. Well, she's back.
Oh.
So it's going to put Southern Heuristic right back in the thick of it in Class D. So, again, if we talk about winners and key players on those winning teams, Allie Shields, even though it's a smaller school, that's another name that you could throw into the fire.
We might have lost Steve. Is he back?
Hey, while we're waiting for Steve, I just wanted to throw in another name. I mean, we can't go the whole show without talking about this kid. And if you plan on going to a Chevrolet game this year, you're going to see Jamison Fitzpatrick. Jamison is a stud. I've gotten a chance to see him play since last year, and he's on a different level. I would almost put him in that Mr. Basketball conversation. I just don't know that the style of play they play, I don't know he'll have the stats. But we got to mention Jamison Fitzpatrick at least once on here. Great player. Sorry, Steve, you were buffering, so I jumped in.
That's all right. I lost you guys. There was nothing on the screen for about 30 seconds.
Wow. All right.
So jump in.
But we pretty much have gotten to the end here, and with only minimal problems, considering it's 4 degrees out and windy as anything. And I think we did pretty good. Dylan, if people want to get involved with Blue Wave, either as a player or whatever, what do they do?
Yeah, so bluewavebasketball.org. My email is dylan@bluewavebasketball.org. We're grades 3 through 12. We'll even take a good second grader if he's ready. And we're just developing kids the way these Maine high school coaches want them developed, right? We know what the high school coaches are looking for. So if your goal is to make varsity as a freshman, or maybe you got cut from the 7th grade team and you want to make the 8th grade team and want to take that leap, we can certainly give you the information. And, for those kids who are special and are, looking for exposure to colleges or prep schools, we have things for those kids as well with our showcase and elite teams and things of that nature. But, the best part about Blue Wave is I get to see all these guys before they step on the high school stage. And I'm telling you, the best is yet to come for Maine basketball, guys. We're seeing
Awesome.
we were seeing stuff at the middle school level last year that we used to not see at the high school level. So we got some great tournament years ahead of us. And I appreciate you having me on, Lucas, Steve. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate you. And
All right.
So I mean, how's this point system going to work? Because I know Maddie Provost is going to win Miss Girls Basketball. So when we look back at this, how are we scoring this?
So it's 3 points for the win, 2 for a finalist, 1 for a semifinalist. And,
Got it.
And if we're lucky, we'll have gotten all 20 semifinalists. But I'm not holding my breath because there'll be somebody we've completely forgotten about. Steve, I have one very important question for you. How does someone campaign to win a Stevie? What is the best approach? Is there, you said, swag bags? What do you do?
Well, as for kids that want, again, there's certain award categories that, again, if you're a great defensive player, you can win it. But I do have the Stevie Award, just a Stevie Award for 4 kids in Aroostook County for just kids that I maybe gravitate towards. And there's certain qualities in kids that I like a kid that showcases a little swagger. I do. I think confidence is important. I think kids that walk in the gym and think they're the best player and that's going to be there. They don't care who the king or the queen of the court is. That's what I like. I like kids that showcase a little swagger, like Riley Moulton or Lily Bell from Caribou. I like that. or a kid that's just going to go out there and guard the opposing team's best player and isn't going to complain about it. It may not score 15, 20 points a game, but is going to play terrific man-to-man defense. It's going to take on the challenge. I like that. So there's no real, I'm not going to take any money bribes. Can't do that. But it is my choice. And it's just something that I want to do. Yes, but I'd probably get me in trouble.
Steve, when you talk about swagger, do you know about Aiden Jeffers out of Fort Kent?
I do know about Aiden Jeffers out of Fort Kent. Yes.
That kid's got swagger.
He's got swagger.
That kid is going to average 25 a game this year. And
yeah, he's got swagger and a lot of buckets.
Yes.
A lot of dunks.
He can shoot, too, Lucas. He can shoot, too. Yep.
I've seen some clips, yeah. I haven't seen him in person, but I've seen some clips. And then
he's awesome.
And then, Steve, you're also WHOU all year. If people don't have WHOU by now, give me the elevator pitch on why they should.
Well, there's nobody that's going to cover more games across the entire state as far as live streaming. I mean, we cover from Madawaska all the way down to, I think we're going into, Rob Kennedy's been doing games in Maranacook, and I think we're doing some at Monmouth Academy, and we've got a ton of games in Central Maine. I think it's over 1,000 games total on the schedule this year for us.
Ethan Snow's probably doing OOB games.
Yeah, Ethan. Yeah, I say Ethan's doing a ton as well. It's everywhere now. I've lost track. I was there, started 13 years ago, and it was not the way it is now. It was just streams and Prescal basically, and these schools had not gotten caught up with the technology as far as direct Ethernet plugins and internet quality with fiber cables. It just was not there. And now most of these schools have caught up, and every school has their own live streaming option. So, but HOU, again, we provide full production from around the state, and there's a reason why we have the contract to do the tournament.
And you guys do a fantastic job.
Good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm a subscriber to Maine Basketball Rankings, as Lucas knows.
From the beginning.
I get your newsletter every day. I use your stuff, your media guide at tournament time. It's awesome. I'm a big numbers guy. And I love what you do, so I appreciate having me on.
Oh, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, right.
All right.
I'm subscribed to both of you guys.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yep.
It's turn your subscription back on time in Maine high school basketball land.
I know. It really is, because I say the work that you do, it takes a lot of the research stuff, the time-consuming part of being a play-by-play guy, of averages and where they sit in the state and stuff like that. It's interesting to me, and it provides whole new context to the matchup.
And you never know what you're going to need until you get halfway through the game.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, this has been great. We got to get Dylan out of here so he can get to the state theater. Thank you guys, and we'll see how we do. We'll see who wins. We'll put it on Facebook.
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
Put it on Facebook and see what the Facebook land thinks is the best team.
Thanks, Lucas. Good to see you, Dylan.
Okay, that's the show. Thanks to Dylan and Steve once again for coming on and hashing through all that. And then I'll post up the teams at some point. I'll put that. It'll be in the newsletter or something. You really should be reading the newsletter, because I did 1,700 words on the second day of the season. It was until like 3:30 in the morning. It was a whole thing. All right. I think that's enough. This has been a production of MaineBasketballRankings.com, your source for the most comprehensive coverage of Maine high school basketball from Ashland to York and everywhere in between. This podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts and a bunch of places you don't. If you enjoy this, please leave a nice review, because it really does help out with algorithms. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Thanks for listening.